in the morning, my mom, my bhaiya, my bhabhi, we were sitting at the table, and I'm like, the company is kicking me out. They're like, why? I'm like, because I don't know, like they're doing it for everybody. They're like, it's impossible. It's been 7 years. Talk to your manager, do this, do that. But I'm like, no, they're kicking me out. This, I made a story. Why? Because they will never agree to the fact that I came with 1000 INR. You could say $13 in hand, survive for a month, ate once in a day, got a high paying job, and leaving the job again and coming on ground zero. So I made a story. Then they didn't had any option apart from getting it approved. Okay, why did I leave the job? Unlearning what I learned. Because what I realized, what my pattern was until 2012, when I didn't had anything, I used to learn a lot of things. But when I got a job, so my thought process, my learning stopped somewhere. And I didn't got a chance to learn something new. So I thought it's the right time to unlearn everything because the world has changed and learn everything from the very beginning. Again, come to ground zero, again, see your bank account with nothing. And then, start your thinking once again because the world has changed pretty well.
Hello everyone, my name is Din Long and welcome to the podcast Lifeline. In this podcast, I will interview people who are having a positive impact in their community and have a strong message that deserves to be shared. We will dive deeper into their journey becoming a change maker, and hopefully you can take away some insights for your own journey. And please do subscribe to Lifeline on YouTube, Apple Podcast, or any platform that you are using. And also you can share this episode with your friends if you like it. It's really what helps me the most. In today's episode, you will meet Amit Jain, who is a co-founder of Mitti Ke Rang, a social enterprise working towards generating livelihoods for women in India. They train women entrepreneurs to start small businesses and support them to sell their handicraft across the country. We discuss his journey escaping poverty, finding a decent job and building Mitti Ke Rang, his gratefulness to all the people who supported him throughout his life and his drive to give back to them. We go through the evolution of Mitti Ke Rang over the years, from a local charity project in Pune to a national organization, and the transition from being donation-based to their current social enterprise model. Amit is truly a people's person. He's always curious and questioning everything. He's a proud budget traveler, and he's also a good friend of Shomy from episode 4 and of Edward from episode 19. I hope you enjoy this episode and see you soon. So hello Amit. कैसे हो भैया?
Hi, I'm good. I'm really surprised, to talk with you in Hindi. It's really great. So, मैं अच्छा हूँ. Hope you are doing well as well.
Ever since Jagriti Yatra, I love meeting again Indians in general because I can practice everything I learned there.
Right.
But super excited to have you on Lifeline podcast today. I always start by reminding a bit how I know all my guests. And for you, it's quite special because I remember we were connected first because Shomy, who I interviewed as well for episode 4, she was organizing a movers workshop and you were there. And then I always share about JY. And you were telling me you also did JY. And I think it's also where you met Edward, right? So everything is connected. Yeah, another bhaiya. And who I also interviewed him for episode 19. So so great to see that everything is connected. And then I actually appeared on your podcast, Humans of Mitti Ke Rang. So the host was Manvi. It was about community building. And then I just follow what you do with Mitti Ke Rang. So I'm actually really impressed by what you do, the online platform, and I bought some gift for my colleague Anisha. Anyway, that was for a long intro. But super excited to have you, Amit, today. And maybe we can just start if you'd like to introduce yourself, a bit what you do these days, where you come from.
Well, thank you so much for having me for this podcast today. Well, I'm from India. I'm from Pune, a town in Maharashtra. Things are pretty not good, not bad in India right now, but we all have been learning and growing. So just to share about my journey, I come from a town in Maharashtra in India. wherein I did my schooling, my graduation, and my childhood was pretty awesome and pretty tough. I lost my father at a very early age, but luckily my grandfather, my uncle and auntie, my grandfather opened a shop for my mother. Then my uncle and auntie gave us food, clothes, and everything to, that was a big support. And being a single parent child, you tend to be naughty, mischievous, So that was I. Until fifth standard, I was pretty good at studies, but later on, I started really not getting good marks. Then, so what happens is particularly when you're in 10th standard, the only option which is there for you is you can only do engineering or take science. Then only you'll be able to survive or able to earn a good salary. So that was my plan. But being bad at studies, even I was in shock. Okay, what stream should I choose? But then I just took science in 11th, 12th. And to just conclude about my this past is I wanted to do engineering, but due to the lack of funds, I just moved to a BCom degree and then done my graduation in India in my town. And I came to Pune in 2012 to look for a job. And in India, particularly when you do BCom, for the international audience, it's like graduation, 12 plus 3, and BCom honors, what we call commerce, finance. So I came to Pune, and at that time, even I was told that you don't get a job if you do that degree. I'm like, let me try. If I don't get anything, I'll go back to my hometown and I'll do something else. I couldn't do MBA because, again, fees was pretty high, so I have to move to a job. Then I came to Pune in 2012 again. And when I came with 1,000 rupees. We were not that rich at that time. We were a little poor. But I survived for a month, ate once in a day, applied to a couple of jobs. And luckily, one company hired me. And the salary was very low, like 8,000 Indian rupees. You can convert to dollars, 8,000 INR. And I was very happy. Oh my God, how on earth I got a job? And I called my mom, Mom, I got a job. We were all very happy. But, I had a habit of talking to people. I don't know why. So I just talking to one of my friends. He just said, okay, go to this company and just apply. If nothing takes place, not a big deal. I went to that company with an intention that they are not going to hire me because they want experienced people and with an MBA degree because of that designation they were hiring. So I went there, I applied, and luckily we were like 18, 20 in the first round. Everyone told me, Amit, you're doing a mistake because if you don't get hired over here, you won't be able to apply again. And at the end, I was the only one which was there for the last interview. And I went for the interview. And this part is very, very funny and very how you connect the dots. Because the manager asked me the moment I went into the meeting room, you have worn the sports shoes. Why not a formal shoes? I'm like, I don't have the money to, buy the formal shoes. So he's like, okay, then the interview started. And I was able to talk to him very perfectly well. Then what happened? He called someone from Brussels because the designation which they were hiring, they weren't hiring for MBA or the experience, not hiring for the freshers. So she came in and she started talking to me. And what's the funniest part? I was able to understand each and single line what she said about the global finance scenario. Because in my graduation, I don't know why, but I was listening to BBC podcast quite often. So the accent, I was able to understand. And I never thought this would help me in my job, which will change my life and my career forever. And to cut the long story short, I got the job in the night and the package was 4 times high, which I was getting. Everyone was surprised. How on earth can I got a job? So that's my journey until Pune, until, I got a job.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing it. So everyone listen to BBC podcast. And I really want to go back to your childhood. I always start with people's childhood, but maybe to contextualize everything. Would you like to share a bit about Mitti Ke Rang and what you do with that? Because I know it's awesome work, and it can also, I think would be nice for everyone to have this in mind, and then we can go back and forth in your chronology.
All right. So Mitti Ke Rang, again, this is really a big, what you say, like we all read in the books, okay, we should just do it, just do this and all. So just to give a background about Mitti Ke Rang, in 2012, I got a job. First of all, I tried to learn what is an urban city looks like. Because for me, Pune was the first thing, first urban city I ever came to proper stay here. First time, I went to all the malls to eat pizzas and to just explore the city. Because the people who are already in urban, it might sound very funny. But for someone like me who comes from a town wherein we don't know anything, not am about mall and all those stuffs. So I just tried to explore about Pune. And 2 years I learned about Pune and Mumbai. Mumbai is pretty close from here. And in 2014, my mom came to Pune from the town to be with me, so we can be together. And then while talking, we realized all our entire life, grandfather opened a shop, my uncle, auntie, my cousins gave us food. And even, when I used to wake up on my birthday, we used to just wait that my aunt will come and give me a t-shirt and I'll go to the school and, wear that on my birthday. So whatever we are today is all because of them, because what they have given from the birth, from the childhood, food and everything. So we thought, okay, let's give back to society. And very honestly, because for me, I come from not that from a good financial background. So for me, money was very important because I haven't seen money. So I thought I'll do MBA, I'll switch my job, I'll go to abroad to, work and all. Then in 2014, we started Mitti Ke Rang with just a simple idea. Okay, we will collect the clothes from people, we will collect the books, collect the food, and we'll donate to the people who need that. And why we did that? Because all my life, I was been given something by someone. So we thought, let's start. And the plan was very simple. That's it. So we did for a couple of months. And for a couple of first 6 months, I was pretty alone. So if you have heard about OLX and one more site, so wherein you can list, okay, if people want to donate something, it's like an open where people can just sell whatever they want to. So I just use those platforms. And I just added the content that if you want to donate something, your old clothes, old books, just contact me. For the surprise, in the first initial weeks, I got so many calls that, for 5 days, Monday to Friday, I used to work. And then Saturday, Sunday, I used to call them, okay, I'll come to your home, I'll collect the clothes. So I used to take my bike, which my brother gave it to me. And we used to go and I used to, on my bike, I can keep the clothes on the petrol tank. Then I used to collect those, donate, then again go and donate. So that's how we worked for 6 months. And also a very interesting story here. We always think the people who are of low strata, for example, auto driver, the security guard, and people who we don't think they would be of any help. The auto driver was the first person who joined MKR, and he was the first supporter of MKR. So I just gave him one T-shirt. He's like, sir, it's a good initiative. After a few days, he called me. If you need any help to collect the clothes, just call me. I'll keep 20% for my locality, so I can donate to them, and for myself. And 80% you tell me whom to donate, I'll donate. So my tension gets over. I should tell him, okay, go and collect. So this is how we grow. And here comes the power of social media. How we grow from 0 to 1 and 1 to 50. Like whoever donated the stuff, we started tagging on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and then they later become volunteers. So, then they used to go and collect from their locality. That's how the network started growing and all. So initial first year, this is how we went. And so then 2014, we started 2015, 16, 17, 18. And this 5 years, we used to work on a random topics wherein we are collecting clothes, environment, celebrating festivals in the NGOs, in the slums areas where the simple funda was people should get to know about those NGOs in the locality. So, they can go and help. And in these 5 years, I met my co-founder in 2015, Mr. Saket Deshmukh. And after my uncle aunt, so after my mom gave birth to me, after my grandfather opened a shop, after my uncle aunt gave food to us, after I came to job, thanks to my manager, Saket Deshmukh is the person, the co-founder who changed the entire course for Mitti Ke Rang, because he comes from a very good background of learning how to run a startup, how things works. So because of his insight, his help and his support, Mitti Ke Rang is what it is today. Because I come from a BCom background. I was working for a couple of years, so I was knowing nothing. So, I met him in 2015, 2016, in that period. And in 4 years, most of the time we had, we will close Mitti Ke Rang because nothing is happening. I was getting pressure, not pressure, but family was asking me, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Because, for them, they know where we come from. So they are like, okay, Amit, do something more. So that's how the scenario was. But so yeah, that is what we do at Mitti Ke Rang until 2019, until I left my job. So after I left my job, that's a complete story altogether.
Thanks for sharing, the stories from the birth to 2019. Before you share, like post 2019, like the phase 2 of Mitti Ke Rang, I'd like to come back on the sentence you said, which I think is very powerful. You said people were helping me all my life. People were giving me things all my life. And you said it started when you were 3 at the death of your father. And this sentence is it something you realized as you grew up, or is it something you realized by looking back at your life and your childhood?
Looking back at my childhood, because until I got the job, until I got what a settled life, I didn't really realize what I've been through. But when I got the job, when I started reading, when I started getting salary in my account, when I started getting to eat what I want in the restaurant and getting to do what I wanted to do, so like what I think all the time, generating curiosity. So what happens with that? For example, for me, for anybody, we have one expectation in our life, and once we meet that, then our mind start thinking what next. So I always tell myself and tell friends or people I meet that whatever you have in mind, just do it. Because once you do that, then you can think more clearly, okay, what I have to do next. For my entire life until my graduation, money, job, and my future was in my mind. So when I got that, then I realized, okay, when I look back, this was my journey. So time to start again.
No, it's very interesting. Like, if you have something in mind, just do it. When you started Mitti Ke Rang, 2014, what was your initial objective or purpose? Like, did you have this, I don't know, big vision, 10-year vision? I want to, Mitti Ke Rang to solve whatever issue, or were you just, okay, let's just collect clothes, collect anything we can, redistribute it, and looking at day-to-day stuff? Yeah, what was a bit like your state of mind when you started Mitti Ke Rang?
Right. So my state of mind was, okay, Amit, today I woke up, I am thinking to do this. I went on Google, I went on the OLX and the Quicker website. I just posted that, okay, if you want to donate clothes, call me. That's it. And I just kept doing. Even we didn't had a name, Mitti Ke Rang, until a year, I think. So on one fine day, I called my brother. I'm like, bro, I need help. He's like, why? What do you need help in? I'm like, I'm not getting to know what name should we keep. Then he suggested this name. And Mitti Ke Rang means colors of soil. And being a 21, 22, 23 at that time, I wanted some fancy name, because, being a young, you want something fancy. I'm like, this is a very desi name. But then we didn't have any option at that time. So we just kept it. And now when we look back, we are like, we are so damn lucky we took this name. So to answer your question, there was no vision, there was no mission, we never thought I'll be doing this, I'll be taking this full time. Forget about vision and mission, or I'll be doing more than 1 year. So yeah.
No, it's interesting because it's, like now it's so big. It's also phase 2. You might have think, I had this vision from day one, I wanted to do this. And I guess, I can see it, you saw this issue in your day to day. You're like, I have time on weekends, I can do that. But then I guess everything that happened, all the second wave of volunteers extra was not what you expected. And I guess from just to add on what you said, like your co-founder, he arrived in 2015. So I guess it's what he brought as well to the team, right? Like the having a vision, purpose, etc.
Right. Mr. Saket Deshmukh, we met in 2015. And so we just discussed, what we are doing at that time. And very honestly, till 2019, we became so good friends. He was a part of MKR. I was a part of MKR. We had a lot of volunteers coming in. So even when we met, until 3 to 4 years, we never thought we will become a co-founders in this, because we both were working. We wanted to work. It was like passion. And because whenever we used to think about Mitti Ke Rang, we used to talk about Mitti Ke Rang or plan about that, we never used to get tired. It was like, oh wow, what an awesome moment. Let's do something. So I think when you get a co-founder, when you get someone as a co-founder, it's very important you be with them for 4 to 5 years as a good friend, and never have in mind, ki, okay, you both are going to be, becoming a co-founders in this. So, but luckily, because the quality, the experience he brings in on the table is something which really kept going Mitti Ke Rang for 3 to 4 years, wherein we had a lot of not surety ki what to do, what work we should be doing, but his ideas, and most importantly, what he shares, he always tells me, always think what not to do, because when you know what not to do, you can focus on the things which you should do. So this line of him, and also my attitude of just do it or let's experiment, comes from him, because he always tells me, is there any harm in doing this? What losses you're going to be facing, any monetary or any physical or any reputational? If there's no financial, if there's no reputational, if there's no loss for anybody, let's do it, and then see what comes after that. So, like, because of his experience, we have really grown 5 years extra compared to what we would have grown in 2026.
Before moving on, I also wanted to come back on one point you mentioned. You mentioned you had this like dream or to study, to become an engineer and study engineering. You mentioned you had to switch to commerce because of lack of funding. I just wonder, when you say lack of funding, is it because for engineering you need to study in another city, or is it because engineering schools there is higher tuition fee? Like what happened?
Right. So yeah, it was a higher tuition fees. I have to move to a different city, and also the percentage which I got, I couldn't get the college which might charge very less. I have to take the private institute. So yeah, that was the major point, and also lack of confidence at that time, because already we don't have much funds, and if we take loan or something like that, and I was not good in studies also. And why I wanted to do engineering, because in my mind it was the only option which will give me a well paid job, because that's what I was being told by everybody. So that became a dream in my head. So that was the whole. And then when I did my commerce, everybody told me, okay, MBA is the next future. So I started doing my studies for MBA. So after my graduation, I gave my examinations for MBA colleges. Again, the fees are very high. I couldn't take admission into MBA. So the only option left for me was doing a job. And again, people told me you can't get a job because you have done BCom. So everything was against, but everything was in favor. So I'm like, just try. I came to Pune, I applied for a couple of jobs. And also one important factor, my English was very bad. Even now I struggle in grammar, but in my graduation, what I did, I took a newspaper, stand in front of the mirror, and I used to talk with myself for like a couple of hours in English. So because I believe if your tongue get habitual to any language again and again, your subconscious mind gets that English language. So that's how I improve my language. I listen to BBC podcast, and I was able to crack my first ever thing, which changed my entire life.
What you said reminds me of a story from the famous stories from Jack Ma. What he did to learn English. Jack Ma was this like billionaire Chinese guy of Alibaba. He was just going out in the street and looking at who were foreigners and asking them, hey, I will show you around if we only speak in English. So he was doing this at, his childhood between 10 and 15 to 18. And it's how he learned English, just going out there. And it's funny, because from Jack Ma example or your example, it's something that actually anyone can do. Everyone can speak in front of the mirror. Anyone can go out and spot the foreigners, right? But the thing is, not anyone does it. So I wonder why, like, how come, what's in your brain that, tells you to do it? Yeah, I just wonder what is special about you so that you come up with this idea and you do it and you stay a few hours to do that.
Because I just wanted to come out of the thing I was in. It was all because what I learned, okay, you should know English, and you should do engineering, and whatever I kept doing, it was all because I just wanted a job. Very honestly, because I've seen poverty and everything, so I just don't want that in the future, because I used to read a lot of novels at that time, And one of the novel, which not one, but three novels, which really changed my life. So in 12th standard, in 10 plus 2, after I did my 12th, I came to Pune to look for the college, but I have to go back to my hometown. So in Pune, near the Vaishali restaurant, there is one place, ABC, where you get a lot of old books. So I just went there and I took three books, I think five or two rupees, five books, 2 cents. First was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Second, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Third, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. So these three books, I just kept reading, kept reading, kept reading. So one thing was very clear in my mind at that time. I don't know what other things, that if you have a problem, face it and solve it. Thus, don't keep cribbing about it, which I found in all my peers, that they know English. If they don't learn, there will be a problem, but they won't struggle to learn for it. Everybody knows you have to do this, but they don't do it. And they just keep cribbing because, that gives them the energy. That gives them the smoke. Wow. Okay. I'm not doing this. So, that is what motivated me to do whatever I felt it might help me or I'm not good at. So I just kept doing it.
Yeah, for me, it's really impressive, because there's one sentence I always say, that you don't know what you don't know. And you were telling me that you lived in poverty and you want to get out of this. But the thing is, you want to get out, but you don't know where you are heading. And it's also, like what was the difference from, a youth from Delhi or youth from more like grassroots communities? It's a lack of opportunities, and also, maybe lack of, I don't know, quality education or whatever. But, for the youth living in more grassroots communities, is he or she doesn't know all the opportunities out there. But in your case, it didn't stop you to figure out that there were other opportunities, another world out there. So for me, I always find it so impressive that you have the power to find out by yourself and go out there.
And what I learned, in this, like, again, it's a really very surprising factor. The people who come from tier 2, tier 3 cities grow more compared to the one who are already in the tier 1 cities. I'll tell you why. Because, for example, you're in Cambodia, you were in France. So if we tell you, okay, you're going to Cambodia, you're going to France, you won't be surprised to see the street, to see the people, to see the cafe. There won't be a wow moment for you because you are living in and out in that. So generating curiosity is something. When I came from a town 2 to town 1, everything was new for me. So I see that change from a very fresh perspective. Because in an urban city, every day something is changing. And the people who are staying over there don't realize the change. So they don't grow. And that is why when I talk to people who are from the urban city, they have been studying from the childhood, they don't realize how opportunities are for them. But what I believe, if a tier 2, tier 3 city guy or girl, like anybody, can at least try to do something, they have a very open platter to do that. That's the biggest difference, I think.
I saw somewhere, and you said it as well, like you are hungry for curiosity. But you didn't say it like this, but so you're like always curious. What is, so is it just a mindset, or did you train yourself to be always curious, or do you have some tips to be more curious?
No, because I had nothing. So for me, everything was new. So that made my mind, oh, okay, this. So that mindset, because from the birth, I didn't have anything. So for me, everything was new. So, that got into my DNA automatically. So I didn't walk upon them or like did anything.
I see. Cool. And to come back on a bit on, Mitti Ke Rang. So you started it in 2014 without necessarily any long-term objective, but just to help your community. Then your co-founder arrived in 2015, so brought a lot of skills. And you mentioned, so you left your job in 2019. So just wondering, why did you leave the job? Or is it something that you were thinking about for a long time? And was it specifically to run Mitti Ke Rang full time as well?
Wow. So, I came home in the night, and in the morning, my mom, my bhaiya, my bhabhi, we were sitting at the table, and I'm like, I the company is kicking me out. They're like, why? I'm like, because I don't know, like they're doing it for everybody. They're like, it's impossible. It's been 7 years. Talk to your manager, do this, do that. But I'm like, no, they're kicking me out. This, I made a story. Why? Because they will never agree to the fact that I came with 1000 INR. You could say $15 or $13 in hand, survive for a month, eight months in a day, got a job, high paying job, and leaving the job again and coming on ground zero. So I made a story. Then they didn't had any option apart from getting it approved, convinced. It was notice period for 2 months. Then I left the job. Okay, so why did I left the job? So there were a couple of points, like because when I went to Jagrati Yatra in 2016, that time I got to know, okay, things are like that. So my first flight when I sat in aeroplane was in 2017, and that was to Malaysia, not also domestic, where I went to the Commonwealth Summit. So, that's how my life has changed from 2016 or 2015 till now. And I was doing a backpacking, every year when I was working, because when you work in a corporate, you get a leave of 15 days. So I used to take a 15-day leave, plan 10, 12 cities back to back because I had a network. So I met people, I explored a lot of stuff. In 2018, I think I got to know about backpacking, about being a nomad and all those things. So I wanted to backpack. I wanted to explore new things. I wanted to take full-time Mitti Ke Rang. So that won't. So very frankly, taking Mitti Ke Rang full-time was the only point to leave my job. My more pointers were, okay, I want to do backpacking across India, across the globe. Mitti Ke Rang, like you could take 75% and just explore more areas, because working in a company again and like doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results, so that doesn't take you anywhere. And the last point was unlearning what I learned, because what I realized, what my pattern was, until 2012 2013, when I didn't have anything, I used to learn a lot of things. But when I got a job, so my thought process, my learning stopped somewhere, and I didn't got a chance to learn something new. So I thought it's the right time to unlearn everything, because the world has changed, and learn everything from the very beginning. Again, come to ground zero, again see your bank account with nothing, and then start your thinking once again, because the world has changed pretty well after 2015. The online things has comes in. So yeah, that was the pointers. And yeah, Mitti Ke Rang. So why again? So we have a center in Pune where we used to train women entrepreneurs to make paper bag, cloth bag, tea light candles and all. So I realized, okay, this is really growing. And with the job, so very frankly, from 2014 till 2019, for 7 years, I used to work for 15 to 18 hours a day, like 10 hours or 12 hours a job and 4 to 5 hours Mitti Ke Rang. That gave me the confidence in 2019. Okay, you can give it a shot because you have the experience, you have worked so hard for that, and you can do that. So I'm like, let's take a leap and just try it.
One super interesting thing I wanted to speak about, I mean, there's so many things I want to speak about, so it will be difficult to have a consistent order. But you only say two things on your LinkedIn profile. One is Mitti Ke Rang. The other one is about your backpacking experiences. So yeah, I wonder, like, I always wondered, is it linked to Mitti Ke Rang, or is it something else? And how did you decide to? Can you share about your first backpacking experiences also?
Right. So backpacking, I think, if I'm not wrong, I did. I went to Delhi, and from Delhi I went to, so I think, Chandigarh, Delhi, and Agra, and all those connecting places. So what happens when you travel? Like, because for me, as I said, whenever I hear something new, I just go deep into that. So then backpacking, solo backpacking, nomading, all things started coming in. So I just explored, and I already had a network. So my stay, my food was almost taken care of. And so I used to do one day, one city. For example, one day I went to Agra. I know someone who will take care of me, who will get the bike, take me around. I'll go to next city. So that's how, I save my time in terms of exploring myself and learning everything, but take help of someone who knows everything. So that was the first, and then every year I kept doing.
And it's not linked to Mitti Ke Rang or the.
Nothing.
Okay.
So,
I was.
but how it got connected unconsciously and unintentionally. That I started meeting a lot of friends who are into NGOs, who are into social entrepreneurship. In the latest backpack, which is on my LinkedIn, I met a lot of women entrepreneurs. So I went to Nepal. I went to in the Nepal I met in the Pokhara in Pokhara I met the entire corporation who got elected recently, which was women politicians. I met everybody of them. So yeah, it how somewhat got connected. But if you ask me, Mitti Ke Rang is very different, and my backpacking is very different.
For me, it's very interesting because I also discovered myself through backpacking. The first time I had the chance to backpack, I was 19, and I joined like this NGO in Iceland. So I was volunteering with them for 1 week and a half, 2 weeks. So we had to organize cultural events in the capital city. And then I had 1 week and a half all by myself. And it's the first time I backpacked. So it was the first time I went abroad, and I hitchhiked throughout the whole country. It's a very small country. So it's like it's smaller than one state, maybe smaller than Delhi. But I just hitchhiked everywhere. And from that moment, I always try to get 1 week, 2 weeks by myself. I would backpack as well. And back then, student, I don't have a lot of budget, so trying to, just do with as low cost as possible. But it's how I discovered myself, and just a few learning that I developed my confidence through backpacking, because you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for your own experience. If you have a bad day, it's usually, in my case, your own fault, because you didn't manage to meet people, you didn't manage to go in the right places, you didn't manage to do this and that. And for me, it really taught me about entrepreneurial mindset to really, take ownership of the outcomes. So that for me, that was a big learning, and also leadership and being confident and being super sociable with people. You just to survive and not spend the whole day by yourself, you have to speak to people. And I just wondered, what were maybe some of your learnings from all your backpacking trips, whether it's personal, but also about your country, or anything that you'd like to share.
So there were two quotes which I used to follow unconsciously again. First is, what is the biggest truth in the world? Like, what I think is the biggest truth in the world is that everything is a lie. I'll tell you why. Because, as you have backpack, so whatever we read in the news, we read in the books, and we hear from people. But when you go and travel, you're like, shit, I was being stupid all my life. This is entirely different what I have heard about this particular place, about particular culture. So, it matches with everybody. For example, South India, for me, I love the place. I love the place. Sri Lanka, I went to Nepal. So that is first thing which I was following, and it luckily, also got connected. Second, make connection when you don't need the most. In that way, you meet people without any expectation and all. So when I went for backpacking, this both quote really helped me to, talk to people and just explore. And one major learning which I learned from this backpacking was, what is that? I'm not trying to, mindset stability, or you could quote in that way. My mind has become so strong that I can face anything now. So, I have literally, unconsciously, my mind has been trained to get adjust in anything. So what also this, you might have also learned in the backpacking, you meet people in Sri Lanka, for example. I was bitten by a dog the whole night. So if you have been to Sri Lanka, there's a place called Beulah and Betullah. So I was supposed to go to, I think, Betullah but I went to Beulah, I think. So my entire plan got changed. I went to the bus stand. The bus was late for 1 hour. At the last 5 minutes, I was catching my bus. The dog came and just bite me. It was night. I went to the hospital nearby quickly. They say the private doesn't treat rabies. So I went to the another city in the midnight. I searched for a hostel in the morning. I went to all again the private key, it should be done very quickly. Again, they didn't took me. I went to the government hospital because that was the only place. 500 people were in the line. I hadn't eaten anything because because of all the back to back. It was like heat and all summer. So luckily I spoke to a doctor. I'm like, from India, this is this. So luckily she gave me a bed, and in like 5 to 6 hours I got treated, 4 to 5 injection on my wound and all. And then I came back. Now, we are survivors. So I again backpack with that. And then I went to Colombo and flipped back to India. So this experience is like, what else can you expect more bad to happen when you get to see this?
I really love your second quote as well. I mean, the first one, I love it. It's something I never thought about, so it's very interesting. And second one, it's also a sentence I love to say and share with people. Like, meet people before. I mean, just meet people to meet people. Don't meet people because you need to meet them or because you want to extract something from them. And it's funny because when I just look at your profiles or what you do, you're like the people person, the network guy. Looks like everyone in India. But at the same time, it looks like everyone loves you back. And I think it's because you have this mindset of you don't meet people to extract everything and take out everything out from them. And there's this a bit off topic, but I this day I speak a lot about this, and I think it applies to you. So it's something I speak a lot with Linka, giver and taker. And recently, I discovered that there are two types of givers. The first one is the self-sacrificing giver, who gives first to everything, but without thinking about your personal interest. And second giver, who still tries to give first, help people, but it still contributes to your personal interest. And it's like the most successful giver because you will not burn out by just by trying to support as many people as possible. When I talk to you and I read all the comments, there's something here, like what people really appreciate being around you. And maybe just to make you blush, I wanted to share something that Edward wrote about you. I don't know if you remember. let me read it. He wrote a LinkedIn recommendation, and he wrote, "It is rare to find someone who is as committed to helping those in need as Amit. I have had the pleasure of traveling with him for 16 days across India, during which his purpose to make opportunities accessible to all was evident. I was particularly impressed by his vision of a world where everyone has equal opportunities. It is unfortunate that we do not have more people like Amit."
Wow. My God.
And I think it's I just want to share because people cannot see it, but I've seen this kind of comments everywhere, in every YouTube video, every LinkedIn post, and I was like, well, who is this guy? I think it's, you'll come back to that maybe. And it's linked to, everything you said, it's not bullshit. Just want to say that. And we haven't arrived yet at second phase of Mitti Ke Rang. Maybe I'll let you share. Yeah, could you share a bit, so you quit your job, you become full-time on Mitti Ke Rang. Can you share a bit what happened from this moment?
Right. So what happened, what we realized over the period that the word NGO, with due respect, because we run Mitti Ke Rang for 5 years, but what we realize, whenever we tell anybody that, okay, we run an NGO or you're from an NGO background, people have the preconceived notion. Okay, this might be helping the poor people, the poor picture comes into picture, and, you should wear the traditional dhoti kurta, and if you're doing the NGO stuff, and you might be very old, you might have a lot of money, or you might be looking for donations and all. So these are the preconceived notion which really stops you to make it sustainable model and to grow towards more impact and let's towards charity. So the co-founder, Mr. Saket Deshmukh, and we were discussing, okay, let's move Mitti Ke Rang from an NGO to a social venture, because the women entrepreneurs which we have in our center, they can make the product and can earn through dignity and not through charity. So that time we decided, okay, let's move from an NGO culture to a social venture culture, wherein any product which they make, we will sell through the quality and not through the charity. For example, even if you see on the website, if you see Mitti Ke Rang, any social media post or any, whatever we work, like the culture of Mitti Ke Rang is set that, okay, we are not selling charity. We do promote stories, what the women make. But if you read very clearly, we don't tell you to buy because, you will support charity. And even you won't believe, for the holy boxes we did campaign, for the candle we did campaign. And right now we got 300 plus orders. When you open the website, because you have already purchased, you might have get a red poster, 100% refund, no question asked. This we're doing every day. If a customer DMs us, okay, the bottle is broken, if this is not good. So, I argue with customers on the point wherein we will refund the money to them. And they will argue with us, we don't want the refund. That is the argument which we have with the customers. Can you believe this? So that is the culture which we try to set. No, if you are not happy with the product, there's no charity. We will. So what we do, we give the price to women entrepreneur and to the customer, because MKR Mitti Ke Rang is responsible to manage both the quality from both the ends. So that's what's different we are trying to do when we moved from an NGO to a social venture point of view in 2019, from the month of April. 27th March, I left my job. From 27th March till 30th April, I used to wake up every single day thinking, what the fuck I'm doing? I don't have a vision, like how people are going to buy this, what we are going to do. And all those things used to come into our mind. And the pressure from all the colleagues, all the family, now you left the job, what are you doing? So with that mindset, with the help of co-founder, we kept doing. And now we could say whatever we did for 7 years, now we are getting the fruit out of that.
Well, that's super interesting because, NGO transition to social enterprise is a big topic. And yeah, I wondered because I think so you had this idea, okay, we will transition, have our own revenue streams. Why particularly products made by women? Like, was it something, because from my understanding, from the first years of Mitti Ke Rang, you were working and trying to support not only women, right, but pretty much like all communities in need. So yeah, I wondered, how did you do practically this transition, and why did you decided, okay, we'll work with women entrepreneurs, train them to produce handicraft and then sell it? How was the thought process, and how did you do that?
Right. So from 2014 till 2017, 2018, like a lot of thoughts had come in, okay, we will do this, we will do that, charity, and going to slums, going to NGOs and all. And I was just focused on my job and, doing something for the MBA or something. And MKR was getting close a lot of time because we didn't had a vision. So when I did a backpacking, and also a lot of people we met, me and my co-founder, even if we talk we talk at least for 1 or 2 hours every day. Okay. And because of the COVID, the place where I work from, he stays exactly opposite. We haven't met for a month, single time. We just talk on call. That saves a lot of time. And, that also helps us to be at our pace and discuss. So why I brought this point? So we used to brainstorm a lot. Okay, we did this, we did that. How can we make this sustainable? Okay, if we are dependent on funding, we have the biggest problem of the funding in the NGO sector. You have to portray what you're not doing. At this stage, with this podcast, 90% people would think I'm a stupid. They won't think this is right. But I'll love to bring this out through your network. Don't take me wrong. When it comes to grant, when it comes to funding, and when you check on social media, this particular have empowered 1 million people. this particular have empowered million women. This particular have done million. So very frankly, even I know, everybody know, if you would have empowered millions with a perfect plan, no one would have been poor on the first go. Second, empowering means empower the word change for everybody, from person to person. With all due respect, because I learned this right now, even I was of the opinion before this. So if you train a particular woman for 1 hour, you can't really term the word empower. What after that? If you do something, like million, thousands, if you see MKR post, which we make it very effectively, we never go with the numbers because people want to attract people with the numbers. We don't want to do that bullshit. We're like, we do this, period. Lot of media had come in, okay, we want to publish about the work. I'm like, this is the story. No, but can we mention like you have helped thousands and all? I'm like, no, you can't do that because we haven't done it. If we would have done it, there would be no charity. So yeah, that is like, everybody, if people would listen to this, they would say this is a mad guy. But this is frankly because my mom, so why we moved into product in 2019, because my grandfather opened a shop for my mother, tailoring shop. With that amount, we were able to at least survive for studies. And my uncle aunt took care of something else. So when you give employment, and also the biggest factor, because I've been in this field from a couple of years, I've spoken to so many women entrepreneurs, so many people. When we tell them, okay, we will give you training, they're like, okay, not a problem. But what is the biggest problem for them, or biggest thing which they want is money in the bank account. We all go, okay, we will train thousands of people. You come, we will do a Zoom call, we will do this. But what is the basic they want is the money in the bank account, which we don't focus on. My mother was able to earn through the tailoring, because of which we had some savings. So that is what we wanted to do. Okay, let's have only 5 women, 10 women, 50 women, or 100 women. But make sure every month some amount is getting into the account and they're earning something. And that can help the women into the personal life. The best example, when I left the job in the month of March, April to July, we were making paper bag and cloth bag. Until one day, my co-founder said, okay, Amit, let's do candle for Diwali. I'm like, okay. At that time, we had zero knowledge about candle. We had a big question mark because we moved from an NGO to a social venture. Will people support us? Because people want to see charity. People want to see, in Hindi, Garibi. And they only know NGO. They don't know anything about social venture. We're like, let's do it. The attitude which we have. We did it. And at that time in Maharashtra, we had massive floods. We weren't aware what to do. So to cut the long story short, in those 40 days, 40, women entrepreneurs got trained, 5 women entrepreneurs, how to make candle. We trained them. We started marketing. In 40 days, we sold 52,000 candles. Each women entrepreneur were able to earn 17,500 INR directly into the bank account before Diwali. Before we started this, in the month of September, her mother-in-law, her husband, or the widow who doesn't have a husband, and her father or father-in-law, they're like, why are you doing this? How much are you gonna earn? They were against. When they got 17.5K, her mother-in-law, father-in-law, husband were spreading this message, my bahu, like my, what you call bahu in English. But the husband's wife, what do you call in English? Shit.
As a
okay.
Husband's wife?
Yeah, husband's wife. Like someone's wife. What do you call in English? Yeah, wife. Yeah.
The wife.
Sorry. I told my grammar is not good for English. So they all spoke them about to everybody in the society, in the slum area. They earn this much. That is the happiness for us. And if no media covers that, nobody covers that, we give a damn. We give a damn about impact and if they're earning something, because I know my mother earned through tailoring, even a single rupee if you get in the bank account, that is more than enough for you. So yeah, that is why we moved and why we do all those things.
Cool. Yeah, there's so many points I want to come back to. Maybe, the first one about the candles. Yeah, I just wondered, so you wanted to produce candles. you have no clue about candles. So how did you set up all of that? Like, because I mean, I know you now, so I'm sure you were like, yes, let's do it. But then how did you manage to do it?
Right. So, like again, coming back to the network, make connection when you don't need the most. I just went on WhatsApp, on Facebook. We are doing this. Anyone who can train. So one ma'am, Rashmi ma'am, she is like, Amit, I can train the women entrepreneurs. She came to the center. We got the manufacturing product from the market, a very, very small quantity. She trained them. We checked the QC, quality checking we did. Okay, they can make it. End of story. Let's start the production. And we started the marketing. The rest is history.
So that was easy.
Things are very easy. Like, the more simple the thing is, more you can grow, because we all think, because we read we do MBAs, we read high books, we go on YouTube, watch motivational people. So only, the only biggest problem I have with the YouTube videos of the big people or anybody, with all due respect, what you and I go through in our 20s when you start a startup, the learnings, no one shares that. People might be sharing which I don't know, but the max which I have seen, nobody shares what they go through when they start a startup, when they're into 20s, 30s. What they write in the book or on the YouTube, okay, you have to work smart. You have to just work for 8 hours. You have to grow a very good network. You have to do this, do that. Dude, even you haven't done that in your 20s, 30s. So after seeing that, after reading that, youth like you and me who are from a tier 2, tier 3 cities, we go into that mindset. No, we will not make network. We will just talk to people who have good money or good knowledge. We will work smart. We will just work 5 hours a day on a sofa, and we will expect something will come to help us. Dude, you have to work. So no one talks about this. So I want to make this key, if you work for 20 hours a day, if that makes you happy, there is no wrong in that. So yeah.
No, and it's a very good point. And also, one thing I noticed is all these books are also from American authors. So it's such a different context as well. And it's important it's a buffet, right? You just take whatever can be useful for you, but it's, as is what you said, right? Everything is not true. Everything is wrong. So how to read that with this mindset of everything is wrong, and just trying to break down everything that you can and just keep what could be applied to your own context. So I think it's a very good point to share. And no, cool. Okay, for the candle story, very interesting. And so I've seen now on so the like, for example, if we go on Mitti Ke Rang website now, or if we look at the activities now, it's what you have been developing since 2019. And so I've seen so many products, from the candles, the bottles, so there are 10 pages of products. I wonder, is it the same woman who, so no, you mentioned you have communities of women all across India. So I wonder, do you have a plan of products you want to produce, or do you have ideas of campaign, like the candle one, and you're okay, let's do something for Earth Day, let's do something for whatever day? How does that work?
Right. So I did my backpacking across India. So after the candles got a lot of success, in November I'm like, okay, let's backpack. So again, with unknown plan, with unknown routes, but it got improvised on the journey. What I learned, met a lot of women entrepreneurs from north, south, east, west, northeast, Assam, and also one thing which I learned, that middle class, upper class, lower class, regardless of that, any women who wants to do something, they want to do something, and they have an inclination towards doing a business, or to come out of the comfort zone, or to try something else. Because couple of 1 year back, I was talking to someone. She was an engineer, her husband was an engineer, and they were doing pretty well. But the wife never worked in a corporate company, because she's like, the husband is there. And the husband passed away, and they were very young. She's like, Amit, I never realized. I used to think that the people who are poor would have been facing this problem. But now I haven't worked in my life. I just have a degree. My husband is not there. What to do? So what we think, even I used to think that only poor people have problem. But everybody has problem. Someone has as you said, context is different for everybody. So when I met everyone, they're like, Amit, we want to do something, but we don't know what to do. Or we want to sell something, but we don't know how to do. So now when you go on the big players, a lot of charges are there. You have to be very compliant and you have to be very photographing, because it's not wrong from their side, because they have grown so much. They have to set up a process. And the women who wants to do something from the rural area, they don't, or the urban, they don't have access to all those things. Because when you start a business, your main focus, okay, product should be selling. And if you give time to all the other things, you don't know where you're going. So I spoke to my co-founder. I'm like, bro, we already have a platform. So why don't we give open platform for everybody? Let's open that. And why should we restrict to only what we make? So then 1, 2, 3 got added, and we made a proper plan what to do. And then COVID happened. So I got stuck in my backpacking in Guwahati, Assam for 70 days. Then I came to Pune in the month of May. And the entire 2020 year, we couldn't scale anything because we all know what happened. All our plan for the entire year got in vain. So then we started Humans of Mitti Ke Rang podcast to learn more from people. We started masterclass. We had a lot of interns coming in. So that went till the month of December 2020. Then again, the world started opening up. We are like, okay, we have already wasted 1 year because we couldn't do what we thought of doing. But we thought, let's do it no matter what. Then we started circulating the Google form wherein any women entrepreneur who wants to sell, again, the network which we had, they were already onboarded. The new, you can come on board. So in the month of January, February, we started listing all the products one by one. We started learning about the GST, the Indian compliances, taxing part. The complete tech and finance, luckily, was taken care by my co-founder, all the legal part. I took care of talking to people. And then one by one, the product got onboarded. And then Holi came in. So I was talking to the women group, Health Foundation in Uttarakhand. They're like, in COVID, we don't know how we're going to be selling the Holi colors. I'm like, okay, let's try. So one afternoon, I was cycling in the road. I spoke to her. She's like, Amit, we also do Holi, but selling and all is a problem. I'm like, okay, let's try. Everybody said, Holi people get outside the shop. Why would they buy online? But someone who haven't sold Holi, 18 days, 1/8, we sold 500 boxes across India in the month of March. And again, so this is how you learn and how you fail. That's why failing important. Failing fast is important. The first consignment of Holi colors, the big, got broke because of the transportation. Because even the women weren't aware how to pack it more efficiently. We weren't aware how it will reach. That was the first learning in like 1 week. Very frankly, I couldn't sleep the whole night because at MKR, if there is a loss of a single rupee to anybody, me and my co-founder can't digest that. And that is very clear from the day one when we started this. No matter what, there would be not a 0 rupee loss for a woman or for the client. If we have to close Mitti Ke Rang, we will close and we'll pay everybody. But we will not entertain that. So that has been ingrained in everyone in MKR, So what happened? The Holi, I literally cried, on that day, like 2 months back. Bhai, all the package I've been getting destroyed, the first big one. Now the first 80 orders, because the box packing was not good. All the 80 orders, we were very sure it's gonna go bad. So Ananya from the team texted to all the clients, okay, this box, you might receive in this bad condition. If you receive, let us know. We will do the refund or the new shipment immediately. So we did for few. Someone said, okay, you can use the colors. But after that, those 80 orders, all the orders were perfectly packed. People loved it. Everything we did in 18 days. So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, no, I think thanks for sharing the story. I think it tells a lot when you say that you cannot sleep. It's just another thing that shows how committed you are. And yeah, I think when you share, everyone saying, yeah, I don't know how to sell. And I think in general, it's, you are addressing a very big challenge that I see also everywhere, in Asia and probably in the world, but about, market access for products made in rural areas, and which are good quality products actually, but how can they sell it? How can they market it? How do you manage to sell across India? Is it only like social media? Is it because it's you and you have all your network, or is it another secret recipe?
Absolutely. I spoke to a couple of people, who were into e-commerce and was wanted to learn, what is the best practice, because they have been running from a couple of years and we are just, like you could say, like a fresher into this. When I spoke to them and I told them, okay, we sold like 500 boxes in Holi and now we have received 300 plus orders in COVID, like, with a very tight deadline. They're like, Amit, this is impossible. We have been running e-commerce for such a long time and we really struggle to get organic orders. So I'm like, why? Because they are like, we post on Instagram and all those platforms. I'm like, okay, and what do you do apart from that? They're like, nothing. So one thing which, if you want me to tell the secret USP or anything, this is, I have spoken in all my discussion with different platforms. Again, make connections when you don't need the most. From 7 years, I just made connections. My mom, my brother, my family were, Amit, they are stupid. Why do you go and meet someone at 3 a.m. in the morning at a railway station? On weekends, you're not at home. You're just meeting people. You're just like meeting. What are you meeting for? I just met them. I wanted to meet them, wanted to learn. So all those network of 7 years. So again, there's one more quote which I follow very closely. Love me or hate me, but you can't ignore me. You be on any damn social media platform, Pinterest, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, Quora for that matter, TikTok when it was in India. Then I won't all the 4-5 other commons, LinkedIn, Twitter, Insta, and Facebook. You go, you will find Mitti Ke Rang and Amit Jain over there and the team over there.
It's interesting because now that you think about it, it makes me think that I can imagine when you go on WhatsApp and you just click everyone you know and share. So yeah, for the story, if you have Amit on WhatsApp, you should know. But yeah, every time there is a new product, you are aware. Everyone is aware, and I think it really. And for me, it's okay, I know what you do. I don't mind. And actually, I bought some products after you sent me a message. And yeah, no, I was always wondering, like, how does he do that all the time? Why? And yeah, now it makes more sense, like, love me or hate me, but don't ignore me. And it's a very...
You can't ignore me.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's very interesting, like, how do you deal with... I'm not sure if you have a lot of haters or people who are like, oh, stop spamming me or whatever, but how does it affect you, or you really don't care?
Very good point. Okay. Really don't care. This is not in the dictionary of Mitti Ke Rang, because no matter what, if anybody gets spam, anybody is not happy with anything what we do, we try to improvise on that after understanding the context. So that is sorted. Now, very good point. Okay, how these things happens, because in 2016, if I correctly remember, Facebook was at the peak in terms of algorithm, Insta was booming, and Twitter was, like it is what it is. So everybody told me, Amit, are you mad? I'm like, why? What happened? If you open Facebook, Mitti Ke Rang. If you open Facebook page, Mitti Ke Rang. If you open Facebook group, Mitti Ke Rang. Instagram, Mitti Ke Rang. If you open WhatsApp status, at that time, 2016, I think 2017 it came, Mitti Ke Rang. Every weekend, every week you send us a WhatsApp. Every week what you do. Like, why? We are connected with you on one platform. Why are you spamming in that way on other platform? I was very tensed. I'm like, Amit, yeah, this is right. I kept thinking, but I kept doing that. But I kept thinking. After that, this entire analysis I came with, and I tell this to everybody, all the friends, everybody who wants to be into social media. I'm like, listen, you take 4 social media: LinkedIn, Insta, Twitter, Facebook. On example, on LinkedIn, I have 24K connections. On Facebook, I have 2-3K. On Insta, this other numbers. How many connections are able to see the post now? If you see Facebook algorithm, gone. Insta, gone. Twitter, gone. LinkedIn is getting declines one by way. So this is, I learned at a very early stage. There will be 1 to 2% to 5% for that matter people who will be with you on all the platform. 95% will be new on all the platform. And you will be getting to see new people all the time, because the people who are on Instagram, for example, 2016, all were on Facebook. All the millennials moved to Instagram in 2017. So the people who only focus on Facebook, now they struggle really hard to get the work done on Instagram. 2018, all moved to Snapchat. 2019, all moved to TikTok. 2020, 21, all are moving to LinkedIn because of the algorithm. So the transition, I don't know how, coming from a BCom background, I understood this very clearly. If you are not keeping happy 5% of the people, it's okay. You can unfriend them from the particular respective social media so they don't get spam, but you have the 95% new people. So who you want to remove? 5%, 95%. You know the answer.
It reminds me as well, like the way you communicate. So, in France, there is a big trend now. Every e-commerce expert or whatever, they say this year or next year, I mean, beyond the audio and stuff that I don't really know a lot about, but everyone is saying, yeah, the future is on text messages. The regular ones are from your phone that no one uses anymore, like for the past 10 years. And everyone says, and it's similar to private WhatsApp messages. But yeah, I think it works. I mean, people look at the message. So yeah, no, I think, and yeah, what you say, it's interesting. Yeah, and being able to see the different trends also. Is it, as you said, something you learn studying commerce, or is it just your brain that function like this?
So it will be very funny. What I used to do when I used to work in Bank of New York in my job, I used to go on Google. I used to type 2030, 2050, 2090 trends. So I don't know why. I'm just interested in the future, because I love when there is uncertainty, when there is no clear picture, there's no road, where we are going and what's going to lie in the future. Because what's trend going to come in 2030, 50, 90 or 3, whatever. And for a surprise, when you search on Google, you get the articles which people have written, keeping those years into mindset. So, by reading, I have learned so much on Google. I just type a word, I go on the news and go on the 10th part, because those are the parts which no one's read. And those are the ones which are really good, because they give a damn about SEO, but they write sense. So, all those things kept coming in my mind. And also to answer your question about how we are able to sell so much in such a less span of time, I don't know if you might agree, but if you talk to anybody who are selling something on e-commerce or selling from the home, okay, according to you, which platform would they recommend to you? If you ask them, on which platform should I go to sell the products? Which one would they recommend to you?
Maybe Facebook Marketplace.
Right, and Instagram. Because you can make a good profile on Insta and Facebook and you can sell it. 75% of the sales are happened through LinkedIn for us. Can you believe this?
But it happens through you, right? Or does it happen
LinkedIn.
through... But so like, I see your posts, right? Does everyone in MKR post like this on LinkedIn?
No. So now so in Mitti Ke Rang, very frankly, we had a big team until February, like 100 plus interns. But now we have made the team very, 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 very narrow. So now we just have 5 people who handle the entire e-commerce and entire all domains. We are closing one by one. Because what we realized that e-commerce is so, like you won't believe, from 5th April, the time we started this campaign, till 25th April, I work 20 hours a day. Because every day you have to launch a product, run that for 24 hours, kept a target to get 30 orders. You have to make 15 content. You have to talk to the customer, communicate to the vendor. The day has gone. Next day, again, the same exercise. You have to decide which product to sell, how the photograph would look like, how the content would look like, everything, you have to be like, you won't believe I literally kept my hand in the water in the fridge to make it normal. Because every time WhatsApp, I have 3 mobile phone, 1 laptop. So, that is how, if you work this way, everything is possible. So through LinkedIn, Mitti Ke Rang account, Mehak, who is a team member, mine account, and couple of 3-4 member account, we keep pushing on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, and everybody I talk to on e-commerce or who are doing business, they're like, LinkedIn, are you stupid? This is impossible. I'm like, okay, not a problem.
Do you?
What's the biggest truth in the
Yeah.
world? Everything is a lie. People,
Yeah.
because if things works, people would think this is false. I'm like, okay, not a problem.
You'll make it work. Do you ever feel overwhelmed?
When do we feel overwhelmed? So Mehak, who would contact you with the orders, she will contact you. So the moment the Shopify, there's a sound of coin. If you have been on Shopify on e-commerce platform, the moment it rings, I become overwhelmed. Oh my God, we got an order. The order would be of 199 or 1999, no matter the amount. If the ring rings, we are again activate for next 2 hours to work more and more. So that is why the moment it comes in, I get joy. I go and drink water. I'm like, okay, now let's work.
I see.
Small happiness, that really makes a big difference, because from birth we have been taught, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that to become happy, you have to become something. But no one tells us, dude, what to do now? How can I be happy now? Because you can't predict the future. No one predicted the COVID. So I always make sure that I'm happy all the time what I'm doing, and I try to be happy with every small thing which I do. The big thing doesn't excite me, but yes, the small thing excites me a lot, which helps me to get big.
And again, on you mentioned like curiosity it's not something you train, it's natural because you came from a background with nothing, so everything is new. And I wondered about your happiness philosophy, like were you always like this?
Very frankly, yeah. So when I talk to my mom now, I'm like, this guy never take tension in life. This is like from the birth, everyone tells me, Amit, like first thing is he never takes tension, but yes, he do what he wants to do. So no one can stop him.
That's really a very interesting character, Amit.
I don't know how to take that.
The good way. No, but that's cool. So yeah, I with all the tech issues, I have no idea how long we've been speaking. But maybe let's move towards the last set of questions, because yeah, if you work 20 hours a day, I feel bad to take already 2 hours. But yeah, maybe just last final question on MKR. Then I have a few questions about you as a person. But yeah, I mean, the best way to support MKR is to order, right? Or
Right.
is there anything else?
Right. And importantly, now what we are planning is in Mitti Ke Rang, we have products made with the great quality. And also we have been diversifying in terms of product, because even I am learning the moment we launch any product, it is like most of the time we're launching the product and me and my co-founder, like, ये product exists. Like, does this product exist and people buy? They're like, let's try. And then we do a like thorough study in that. So we have been moving out to more and more new products on board. And example, we're going to be targeting all the daily use products, all the festivals, Mother's Day, Diwali, Rakhi, everywhere. And as we talk, right now we got an order for 1498. So, now you will see my different energy right now. So, this gives me, like, it's like a caffeine for me, Mac. Like, seriously, okay. So we have all the products with the best quality. And if you don't like the quality, you don't like the product, 100% refundable, no question asked. Next year, we're planning to go abroad for a beginning, target all the Indian communities across the globe, because they really want the product from entire India, from Northeast, from South, from East, from West. We have the bandwidth to ship. We're going to be, again, targeting all the festivals outside India, because if you go outside your country, example, you are outside of France, you love your country more. So, in that way. So that is what we do at MCAT. And if you want to support, you can, if you think the product will be helpful for you, go ahead and buy.
You already deliver globally,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, we do that. Ship. But this year we haven't marketed much because of the COVID issues and all.
Okay. So yeah, everyone, please order something from MKR if you want to see Amit happy face.
Exactly.
Cool. And what is, I mean, it's a bit linked to both MK, but I mean, you're so linked to I mean, you and MKR is like one one entity now, but I would say like so. Two questions in one. The first one is, yeah, what is your maybe dream or vision or very very long term goal with Mitti Ke Rang? And second one, which is related, or maybe not, maybe you have other dream as well. But how would you like people to know you and remember you for?
Cool. Very frankly, this vision, mission, USP, and all those things, even I want to go into that. Okay, we have a vision for this many years, we have a mission for this many years. But when I see the work every day, what we do, and if I look at my past, and if I look at, talk to my co-founder, I don't know, but for me, I set a target every day for me. Me and my co-founder, we set target every day for both of us. Okay, we know we have to help women entrepreneurs with this amount. We know this much target we have kept for ourselves to sell. We know we have to make 50. So I'll tell you the whole day how we work. So if this can be helpful to any other person how we work, I'll be more than happy to assist if they want more. So what target do we keep for every day? That we have to post 15 content a day on all the platform. Okay, non-stop. We have to keep a target of this many orders should come in. We have to keep a target this many new women entrepreneurs, 1, 2, 3 should get on board. We keep a target, okay, this women entrepreneur story should go out. We keep a target, okay, this is the campaign, we have to do that. So this, because of the everyday work, we hardly get time to think at least about 5 years on the line. And that is, I think, is really good for me because I really want to be what we are doing today and not tomorrow. But yeah, we want to think about that, but the current work is not letting us think. So let's see.
And would you, because you're operating a bit like you were operating at the start of Mitti Ke Rang, day to day.
We run like a startup. You won't find a single charity or social talk in our conversation when I talk to our co-founder, or when you go to the website, you go to social media. We want to run like a startup, like a sports team. Okay, we have to win no matter what.
And if you just wondering, but if you could go back in time, maybe that's a question someone asked you already, but maybe at the time you were in 2014. So just maybe the day before you start the first thing before day one of Mitti Ke Rang, and you can meet younger Amit and tell him something. Would you want to tell him something? And if yes, what would you tell younger Amit?
Be what you are. Because whatever I did, my entire career, I'm so happy, and I don't want to change anything. I don't want to alter anything. And even if you ask my mom, it's been 7 years I've worked with the Bank of New York. Not even a single day when I came home, I cribbed about my job because I was happy. I used to enjoy my job. I used to enjoy Mitti Ke Rang. I didn't left job because I wasn't happy. I left job because I wanted to do something else. What everyone makes mistake is even I was about to do, because I used to read books and watch YouTube videos that, oh my God, I am so tense about my job. I'm not able to get to my startup. I'm an corporate slave. I'm this. No. When someone talks me like in 2021, Ki Amit, what should we do? I'm like, dude, listen. If you are monetarily perfect, go for a startup. But if you are struggling with that, take a job, work for 12 hours a day in the job, come back home, work for 8 hours a day for your startup. If you can do this for fucking 7 years, you can do anything in life. What mistake we do in our life, that we think to run a startup, we have to live the full-time job. And that's where the problem comes in. Because because now the people who are working, when I look at them, I sit in front of the mall. On weekends, they enjoy, but I work. So, like grass is always green on the other side. But in my case, I'm very happy. And to answer your question, if I would have met my younger Amit, I would have been same proud what I am today of myself. No change.
Interesting. No, but it's funny. I think you're also very, if I think extreme person in a sense, either you are very happy, either you cannot sleep, because money is not coming, or because maybe some people
No,
might.
I only can't sleep when a person who has purchased an item from Mitti Ke Rang haven't got the quality, or the women who are
Mm.
on Mitti Ke Rang, we didn't pay them. That is the only one thing which makes me sad. So we just do the right thing. If anyone is not happy with the service we are providing and they are paying something, only that things makes me sad. Otherwise, nothing can makes me sad.
Okay, okay. Interesting. And yeah, and coming back to the previous question, that maybe this time more personal, but yeah, like how would you want people to remember Amit and know Amit, but maybe more as not as Mitti Ke Rang, but as Amit Jain,
Traveler,
traveler,
backpacker.
traveler and backpacker. Okay. And yeah, how would you describe yourself in 3 hashtags?
Hashtag backpacking, hashtag solo backpacker, hashtag nomad.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think we covered pretty much, I mean, not everything, but a lot of things. Okay, I want to end with a final question. No, I'm just wondering, so like you said, okay, I will say that to my younger self. Would you say this, would you say something different to your future self?
No, actually, because I don't know. This sounds very strange to everybody when I talk to even my mom. Yaar, how on earth he can be happy all the time? So I just try to do whatever the shit I want to do. So then because I have done already like what all I have to do. I have backpack, I have traveled, I have started startup, social group, I have worked, everything. So there's nothing left, very frankly.
So you've reached all your dreams already?
Yeah, because I am from a town wherein this where coming to urban, getting a pizza, going to a mall was my dream. So what more can I expect in my life? And whatever I get, I'm like, cool, dude. I'm happy.
No, but it's interesting, because I've heard I mean, similar stories where, you maybe people dream to go to the city, have a pizza, etc. But when they do it, they're like, okay, so now I don't have any dream anymore. I don't know what to do. But in your case, you just found another dream, in plural. Cool. And I mean, for me, just speaking to you feels like nothing can stop you. It's crazy.
It's fun because I never like because whatever I do like it's fun for me. And if I don't like something, I just stop straight away. And same with my co-founder. Like we are very straightforward with that. If we like something, we'll go with that. And we don't entertain any bullshit. So that's why it keeps us happy all the time.
Maybe last final question. Why should people contact you, and where can they contact you?
Well, if you want any help in networking, Dan is there. But yeah, you can also reach out to me. If you need any tips in backpacking, I travel across India with very less amount. So you can contact me. If you're coming to India, do ping me on WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Twitter, Insta, whatever you're on. And lastly, for Mitti Ke Rang, if you think this product, because we have a variety of products on the website, and only if you think it will add value to the product you have, please come forward and buy the products.
Thank you so much, Amit Bhai.
Thank you,
Very
Bhaiya.
interesting episode. No, I think, yeah, I will reflect a lot on our episode, I think, because yeah, so many things I didn't hear a lot from other guests or in my conversations with people in general. No, thank you so much, Amit.
Most welcome, and also thank you for this amazing podcast. Through this, even we got to know the stories about different people, and most importantly, like I always believe in walk the talk, and you have already done that by because you went on the website, you yourself purchased the products which you wanted to give to someone, so you yourself have done it, and when you appeal people to do that, that's really add value. So thank you for again setting up an example of walk the talk.
Yeah, of course, and I hope more people can buy more of your products if only it add values to their life.
Exactly. Otherwise, not a problem.
Congrats for listening until the end of this episode. And as always, you can support Lifeline by sharing this episode with your friends, by subscribing, or by writing a nice comment on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much, and see you next time.